Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Just entered towards the end of the previous session, but I think it was all related to how internet is coming closer to the user and the entertainment in our hand. So I said when the entire stuff has been already done from the telecom operator side and the service provider, internet and broadband, other stuff, it's important that that continues because that's how we have moved to the entire personalized entertainment, the entire dependency on the on the technology infrastructure. So when the event organizer, A.B.S and team, they reached out to me in terms of talking about what subject we should talk about this time because 2 years back I covered on the content security part of it. So I said, okay, this time it's more about availability of the infrastructure. Let's talk about a resilient, and which is where I said, okay, though as a user, all of us are very much geared up to entertain and get the best out of the OTT series, or you call it streaming music or video or cinema, even at the multiplex. Now it's all digital broadcast, which happens. But what happens behind the scene? And that's where the entire focus should be, which is it requires a real resilient infrastructure on this aspect. And which is where I know it's only 15-20 minutes which I have with me, but it's not that I can give you a lot of stuff, but the idea is to give you food for thought, especially to think that there are a lot of stuff which needs to be done from when it comes to the technology infrastructure, when it comes to the behind the scene. It's not only the production and the, I would say the post-production type of stuff, but it is also the broadcasting part. So what we are seeing is that from the physical location and infra, just give you an example that, with due respect to all our ages, but we were, in our time, we used to have an audio cassette and a tape recorder at home. So if something is to break down, it's only me who is impacted. And I will be disappointed if I'm not able to hear the music because of my tape recorder or my audio cassette. But today, everything is streaming. I mean, our kids they have not even seen the audio cassettes and audio players. So the idea here is that the entire focus from a very localized source of entertainment has moved to the infrastructure on the cloud side of it. And thanks to all the third, fourth generation, fifth generation of the technology which we are talking about, with the fiber coming into picture and bandwidth not being a constraint at all, and which is where we have moved, which means that the availability of that source of entertainment is no more focused towards the customer, it is more toward the service provider. So for me, if the streaming is stopped, for example, I'll tell you, if a Spotify has a problem, we immediately see that issue which is there on the internet, on the social media, that Spotify is not working, and there are millions of customers who will get impacted, or a geography getting impacted. If the Netflix is down, or Amazon Prime is down, or any of these series or channel are down, then there is a problem. So the idea is that the entire focus has gone and the responsibility is more on the service provider side. And so that's where it is important to give that comfort, or I would say you should, or as a service provider should have a confidence on this. We are talking about anywhere content screen streaming. We are talking about subscription based. We are talking about direct to customer. I have seen many of my colleagues and friends, they have actually removed DTH with due respect to the DTH, but the idea is they are saying, I am totally on OTT. I don't require a direct to home services. Some of them have taken that as a preference. And another example, we used to have serials in our Doordarshan old timer, where that if the one episode is coming on Monday, the next episode is on the next Monday. So which means there was a waiting period of 7 days. Then the soap opera came and they said the waiting period is 24 hours because it's every day. Then we talked about the series and he said, okay, now it's up to you, don't have to wait. When the entire series is 8 episodes are ready, it will be uploaded. So at my entertainment and leisure and availability of time, I will actually do, binge watch, or as you call it, overnight, one weekend, and I'm done with this series. And then you tell your friend, have you watched this series? And he will spend another whole night to be with you, at par with you, and to finish that series. Between that, so from 7 days to 24 hours, I have gone to even few minutes when the episode. To that extent, thanks to all the content developers here, that even that casting patience of few seconds, there is a skip intro. So your patience has also gone that you can do a skip intro so that I can immediately, I don't even wait for the 10-15 seconds of the credits which come in. Even then, now my effort to do a skip intro is also removed because automatically the credit goes and the next episode starts. Now that is the level of, I would say, the moment of truth where we are and our customers are. And all because of the technology. So the entire focus, and which is we are talking about personalization, interaction, and anything which happens, immediately I'll get frustrated, I'll put it on the social media. hashtag this, @this, service provider, and then suddenly there is an entire reputational angle coming to the picture. So what I wanted to just showcase on this particular slide specifically, we are saying that there is an entire dynamism which has come into the customer experience, preferences, entertainment on the front end side, where I was talking about it's more towards the customer's experience on set. At the end, it is more increasing back-end complexity. Right from your production, everything is digital. Right from your post-production, because we have independent editors and post-production agencies, or we call it the independent professionals, who are working at their own style and leisure and from their respective places. So there the entire content is scattered. So their availability and access to one cloud content so that they can upload, change it and put it back into the content is one part. I was doing a review for from a cyber and the security analyst review for an OTT player, a leading OTT player, I cannot name it. But when I went to the ecosystem, I realized that it was so easy for me to download, as a user, to download the app from the App Store or Play Store and start watching. But at the back end, there is a hell lot of so many other applications which are spread across the cloud, across the geography. The analytics, the subscription, the access management, the uploading, the broadcasting, the storage, the archive, and then you are linking it back once it is released to your other channels like your YouTube and other content providers where it needs to be archived and protected also. Which means that it is no more a one single source if that is available and you have to put all your energy there. What as a service provider, all technology may not have that coverage and from a risk or a threat point of view, and the other player who's integrating with that particular can be I would say that is the weakest link from an availability point of view. Regulations, data piracy, digital piracy, distribution, telecom infra. Telecom infra, we all know, I think the previous session we really talked about some of the key aspect here. But issue at the risk or a threat at the telecom infra can actually be a sort of I would say issue for the entertainment provider also. So it's not only something which is at your end, but there is an obligation which is on the carrier side as well. So these are some of the threat risk landscape where you or anyone as an entertainment service company and provider should take care of. So the point here trying to say is that it is not that you have to protect your environment, you have to think holistically all the ecosystem and how well they are integrated and whether they are taking care of all these, some of these key threats. What is the repercussion? Social media outrage, which we have seen that is so easy and that directly impacts the reputation and the image. And in this industry, I think reputation and image is the key aspect here because everybody works toward it and that is the brand. Your reputation or an image of an actor or a production house or a film industry or any ecosystem player is actually the brand equity. And if that reputation is at stake, then you can imagine what will happen. We are talking about some of the resource poaching in terms of because there is very thin line and there are so many players to all about. So that if this goes wrong, don't worry, I'm already prepared for it.